we all have probably, if you were alive, kind of their own, individual story of where they were for 9/11, right? And for me, you're like a part of that story. We were in school together, and I swear at least one of the classes was Mr. Bolt's U.S. history. I hope I'm not making that up or misremembering, but I just remember, hearing about the attack, seeing the plane hit the second tower, and then just being in a daze kind of the rest of the day. But one of my most vivid memories, along with those things, are seeing you and guys like Tyler Russell, other people I grew up with, immediately have a sense of patriotism. And they were going, I'm enlisting. And then it happened. And it actually happened, And a bunch of guys.
Were we outside? Were we outside one of those classrooms?
Yes.
Portables?
Yes. 100%. Yeah, we were in one. So they were exactly right. Yeah. So they were doing some construction in the school, and they had some temporary portals that we had classes in. And exactly right, man. And I remember just looking left, looking right, trying to process what was going on, and looking at my friends and their reactions. And you were one of those people, and I kind of want to pause and then give you the reins from here. But man, all I know is to kind of cut through the narrative. You went and enlisted, right, out of high school, and you ultimately were deployed a few times and stuff. But can you just share a little bit about your military journey, and then ultimately kind of how we got here to the Tennessee National Guard?
Yeah. Okay, so like you said, we were outdoors in one of those portables. I could remember that it could have been a history class, it could have been something, but I remember one of those pull-in TVs, those big box TVs they would have.
Yeah.
And they were showing it on all the TVs within the school. And I could remember being very worried about my sister being in New York, and couldn't really put two and two together on what was going on. Like, we got some planes crashing into buildings, and it's just like, it's surreal. I don't really understand what's going on.
Totally.
And so just like yourself, you're just kind of numb to it. And so I swear, like the bell rings, we go to other classes, and they start making announcements, and they're saying, if you need to go or make a phone call, and I'm trying to get a phone so I can call my parents or call New York, where my sister is. And at that point, I guess it's right after that. Yeah, there's like, how there's recruiters in the lunchroom. We still do that today. We still set up a table, and because I'm recruiting now, so we set a table in the lunchrooms to talk to kids going in and out. Well, there's a Marine in his blues, and I talked to him. We become friends, because that's one of their things. You have to relate to the kids, hang out with the kids. We'd go to like the tire swing over at the lake or by the river. He'd come out with us. He'd hang out with all of us, and that's just their way of trying to get more people in and relate to us. So yeah, I ended up trying to join the Marine Corps. And I had an ACL tear from football.
Right.
And so I had to get surgery, and then I had to get surgery again to get the bolt taken out, because you can't have it while you're in. And I had to go through some waivers, but after about a year in Western Kentucky University, I finally got to go to boot camp. So I went to Marine Corps boot camp. So the funny thing is when I signed up, I signed for the reserves. The reserves are in Nashville. And so the recruiter was just telling my dad, hey, he's not going to go to war. He's going to go, he's going to college. So don't worry about it. I went straight to war.
I was about to say, wait, that's not how I remember that.
I went from boot camp to California for infantry training school. And then I went straight to Iraq, to Fallujah, Iraq in 2004. So that was an experience. And my unit went back in 2007. And then I got stop lost in 2009 to go back to Iraq. It wasn't Fallujah, but it was at the southern border, and their Air Force base out there. It was really relaxed. We were the only infantry battalion in that area, and there was not a lot of need for us at that end because we're pulling out. And so yeah, it was an experience. To be deployed that many times, I loved it. I'll never take it back.
Wow.
No regrets.
Wow.
But you know, one of the coolest things about being in Iraq, I feel like, was at night. Not only are you there with your boys and stuff, but alone at night, you walk through the camp and all you see is every single star in the sky, and you hear only generators running. And it was the most peaceful time of my life. I feel like it's just you and God, and you're just there under these stars.
That is
so,
wow. I've never heard anyone describe that way. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome. That's amazing. That's awesome. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you could. So just from walking from if I went to go get some chow, and I was walking back to the mortar pit. It was a long walk. And yeah, it was really peaceful. That's when I first found God. It's like, wow, everything is beautiful up there.
Do you feel like you found God then because obviously you're deployed at war and there's this sense at any point things can change, right? Or you can, so is it you had to come to terms with that? Yeah.
I think it had a lot to do with that your eyes are opened a lot, that you're in a place where you're not in America where everything's given to you. You have all the opportunity for anybody else would have, and it's beautiful and everything, but then you're in the desert, it smells like death, and you're just one-on-one with the clearest sky you've ever seen in your life at night. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a real big, really different feeling. And just from then on, I had a lot of time to talk to them, with no distractions at night.
Right. Man, it's beautiful you were able to find peace in that, and something something serene in that's in that environment. That's amazing. What a resilience to you also. Man, what made you different from some of the, other soldiers out there that under those same circumstances, just develop more kind of trauma cues, which, and I'm not blaming them in any way, they just process it differently. But what do you think,
I think it's a lot have to do with the individual and the person and how they allow it to. Some guys see a lot of shit and nothing really affects them when they're okay and they come home. Some people, it doesn't affect them for years. I have friends of mine that have started to have issues just a couple of years ago. Yeah. And they come to me they'll talk to me offline about it and kind of be like, I've got issues with this and that. I've got friends with bad depression that I'll invite all the time for dinner. But some guys like me, it didn't really affect me all that much. I don't know how to explain that part. But
yeah, no,
it's a lot of guys